like and subscribe. What small thing screams I am rich? Not noticing you have not been paid in 2 months. I work with some people that pull in 20k plus a month. We had one come in mid-March and said I don't think I have been paid since December. Sure enough 2 months did not pay out for some reason. He was not even mad and just kind of mentioned it, like he was talking about the weather. If I miss a paycheck I'd notice on payday. Spend money if it saves you time. Time is more valuable than money. Working at a luxury resort, one thing I have noticed is that the people who want to give the air of being very wealthy will have lots of designer patterns on their clothes and accessories, like Louis Vuitton print, but almost all of the truly ridiculously wealthy people will basically wear nondescript leisure wear and really plain looking clothes, like plain jeans and tees with no logos. Money talks, wealth whispers. They will never complain about the cost of something, but will nitpick the quality of work to death. Sometimes. Nothing. I know a man who's the kind of rich where it took him only a day or two to convert more than $1 million to cash, not, like, physical cash, but the liquid asset, to buy one of his kids a house. He drives a rather beat up old Subaru, when he's not riding his bicycle instead. He wears jeans and polo shirts. His watch is a $200 digital watch, wouldn't bother wearing a fancy expensive analog watch, all they do is tell the time. What's the point? He's lived in the same house for 50-ish years. The only real tell is the air of total chill he has. He's not worried about much. Money insulates you from really a lot of stress. I was at a really posh restaurant, you know the kind, where there are about 8 pieces of silverware. We had saved up 4 months and a group of 8 of girls, nurses, and knaggers, went out. One of the recently divorced nurses was flirting with a guy at the next table. When we got our checks he leaned over and tossed his platinum card on the I got this. Like combined our tab was easily at least $1,000. On one hand it makes me feel gross people have that kind of money, on the other, that flirty nurse is a bro, and you will owe her a round of drinks. A dwarf who just won the lottery. Having no clue what a gallon of milk should cost. $1? $5? $10? Edit. Wow, didn't realize I'd touch a nerve with this. My apologies to my lactose intolerant and metric inclined friends. So swap out milk in my example for whatever staple you frequently consume yet have no clue as to the price. If I had said the price of gasoline, I'd probably get a mixture of Tesla owners and public transit commuters claiming ignorance. I chose milk because that was used against me. I had recently started my first real job with a decent paycheck and was doing my weekend grocery shopping. I ran into an acquaintance who glanced into my shopping cart and saw my carton of milk. He scolded me for buying milk at that store and informed me that the milk at another store was only at $2 or something and that I'd pay $5 here. I shrugged and said, $5 is pretty cheap too, right? He looked at me with alarm and I realized that I now belonged to another world and immediately proceeded to the nearest Lamborghini dealership for a test drive. *ITEURS 1 banana, Michael. What could it cost? $10. Not thinking twice when making plans about whether you can afford it. Poor people trade their time for money. Rich people trade their money for time. Buying art. And not Instagram art, but gallery dealer art. I worked at a gas station in the 90s when Steve Wozniak would come in to get gas. He dressed in shorts, a shirt, and flip-flops, and drove a $120K car. People in suits seem rich until you realize they work for people in jeans. Perfect skin and good teeth. Rich people can afford to go to doctors and medical professionals for their appearance. I had a friend who worked for a skin doctor. He let her train on her friends with some new products and apparently, it's a thing, where you go in on a regular basis and your skin smooths out, all the weird spots go away, and you just glisten like Arwen or Galadriel. I did get to go in for one practice treatment and the other folks waiting in the room had amazing skin. Ever since then, I could spot moneyed women just by their complexions. Also, a good number of them. You can spot if you know fabrics really well, and how they are supposed to drape when well made. The sofa that is not in contact with a wall. Edit, it doesn't apply if * your couch is less than a foot away from a wall, or something like that. * you can't move freely around the sofa to get to another room for example. * it's related to a restriction like blocking an air vent or something, so you didn't put it there because you wanted to. * you live in an area that is considered a low cost of living area. Buying new furniture, not from IKEA or the like. That is expensive. Once I went to buy the furniture to my bedroom, seeing the crappy wood alike. For $2K total, I decided I will learn woodworking and do my furniture from now on. $7K and few years into it, I can make real wood furniture tailored for my needs and perfectly fitting spots in my house. I would say that rich people tend to order the exotic wood handmade furniture exactly planned for their space. If they refer to their vacation plans as summering somewhere. A friend once told me that her parents said if you had to take a loan for something you couldn't afford it. So they never had car loans or home loans. Must be nice. Dressing like a hobo inside exclusive clubs and be served as the most important person there. Not checking the price before making a purchase. Then I'm loaded. I just came back from Dollar Tree and I was tossing things in the cart like it was nothing. I don't know if this is small but Steve Jobs never had a license plate on his car. He'd always lease for 5 months and 29 days, because in California you have to get a license plate within 6 months. His assistant would drop off his lease and pick up a new one. I used to live in the Bay Area and saw him leave Apple and head straight into the carpool lane at full speed. He never cared about getting ticketed. What an asshole. Going to space for like 2 minutes in a penis-shaped rocket. Keep a business afloat for 2 years during a pandemic with very little income coming in. I am grateful for my boss, and I hope his vintage Rolls-Royce gets finished soon. If your time is worth more than your money. For example, as a lawyer, if I bill out at $600 hour, I would have to save at least $100 for me to take 10 minutes to do anything that I could otherwise bill. I have had discussion with an old friend a few times. I often criticized him for having a cleaning lady that did everything for him. She cleaned, did his laundry, cooked and everything. Every time I tried to tease him that he cannot even wash his own clothes, he would start explaining how he is actually making / saving money by hiring someone to do that stuff for him. He did always win that discussion / I have first-hand experience with this. I actually work with wealthy people's bank accounts, so they can't lie about what they have. Looking over transactions and stuff, here's what I found. You can't actually tell. We have millionaires walking in, like they are homeless, and people who spend more on fancy cars and designer goods, but barely have $100K to their name. The truly wealthy don't wear brands. They are not there to advertise a luxury good. They give a crap ton to charity. More than I make in a year. Mostly for tax reasons, but some are just that kind. We have a joke that the ones that are truly wealthy are the ones who are the kindest. They don't have to think about it, and usually live low stress lives. They like to take the time to get to know you and chit chat. The assholes are always the ones who don't have to work anymore, but also don't have the money to not think about it. There are also quite a few that are sweet in this category, but you always find the assholes here. Something kind of interesting. I've never met an idiot rich person. Have definitely met some that didn't know what they were talking about or were misinformed, but they have all been easily teachable. They don't forget things easily, unless diminished capacity is an issue. Definitely have some offspring and spouses that were idiots. But the people who actually accumulated it all, pretty bright people. An expensive watch that Eisner Rolex. Rolexes are how rich people, or not even rich, but had a good year, show off wealth to poor people. A truly wealthy person will have a Patek or a Royal Oak or a Moolah, and not necessarily even a flashy one. Sort, price, high to low. 2 sheets of 1/2 inch plywood just stored up in a shed. Being completely clueless about how people who have to manage their money have to live. I once vaguely knew a family who were very rich. Even the kids had bodyguards, kidnap, ransom risk. When I stayed at their home for a weekend on a visit, the father casually mentioned not to push a certain button in the room. When I asked what it did out of interest, he explained offhand that it was a panic button to alert security and bodyguards in the grounds, like it was the most natural thing in the world. They were impeccable polite with me, but I felt like Oliver Twist wandering into the wrong home. Through my work as a lawyer, I have a number of wealthy clients. The most common trait between them is an easygoing demeanor along with a bit of a sense of entitlement, though not so much in a rude way. They are used to getting their way, and are usually able to accomplish it through some combination of charm and money. A likable charmingness is another common trait. It may be that most of the wealthy people I know are business owners, and their good manners and conversation skills go a long way in their course of business. There could be a bit of a bias here, just because I don't really know any really wealthy people other than small business owners, but I have scarcely met a brash or rude person with real wealth so far as I know. A friend of mine from Catholic school, where they wore uniforms, said expensive belts and shoes were rich kid indicators. I guess it was a matter of degrees. It was an expensive school, so everyone was doing okay, but if a kid's rocking to boot New York kicks, their parents are bawling. 15 years ago you'd have people in Catholic schools who were basically spending everything they had to send their kids to Catholic school. Some people had not much else, but believed the education was worth the sacrifice of other comforts. I know a lady whose family all went to Catholic school, but she had to share a bed with her 2 sisters growing up. A bed. Not just a room. I worked with another lady in a low-paying, difficult job who was sacrificing a lot to send her kids. She would say, if it matters, you just find a way. But back then I think tuition was like $1,000 a year as opposed to $10,000 it probably is now, so I am sure things have gentrified beyond plenty of working class art or leaseholder abilities to find a way. Buying specialty equipment for a new sport or hobby. Poor people rent or buy used stuff for their hobbies, and if they do buy supplies, get the low-end version rather than the fancy stuff. Van life. I saw someone who did the math, and just the basic necessities to set it up was over 30 grand. I think that wasn't including the actual camper. So not only would you need lots of money to even start it, but you'd need a pretty stable job to sustain it. Note, I'm talking about when they are constantly traveling the country in a large camper. Some of the glamorous van lifers, yeah. But you can also get away with the $5,000 E150, some IKEA cabinets, a mattress and some basic cookware. A lot of the Insta van lifers are influencers, so they are being paid to show the experience. Me, when I check my bank account and have more than $300. Properly tailored clothing. Paying for AskReddit awards. Not having a case on your phone. Well-fitted clothes made from natural fabrics without many visible labels/logos. High-quality accessories. Manicured hands. A hairstyle that needs to be touched up every week or so. Clear skin. Good teeth. A physique that would need a personal trainer and meticulous diet plan to maintain. A poor person can have any one of these, and a rich person can have none, but all of them require money, time, and/or effort to maintain. The more money somebody has, the more they can afford to spend on themselves. You've been visited by the ghost of a very important man. Pay your respects by liking and subscribing, and he'll grant you 3 weeks of good luck.